Tonight, we journey to a forgotten kingdom where history tells of a single night unlike any other. While an aging king rested peacefully behind thick stone walls, the world outside quietly changed forever. By the time morning arrived, an entire kingdom had slipped into the past. Many centuries ago, between rolling green hills and ancient forests, there stood the kingdom of Ostera. It was neither the largest kingdom nor the richest, but its people cherished its gentle rhythms. Stone cottages lined winding roads, fields of wheat swayed softly in the evening breeze, and clear rivers reflected the golden colors of every sunset. Merchants greeted one another by name. Children laughed in the village squares, and church bells marked the passing of each peaceful day. At the heart of the kingdom stood a grand stone palace overlooking the valley below. Its towers had watched generations come and go, standing quietly through seasons of celebration and sorrow. Inside those ancient walls lived an aging king, whose peaceful sleep on one unforgettable night would quietly become the final chapter of an entire kingdom. King Aldrin had ruled Ostera for more than 40 years. Time had softened the strength of his hands and painted his once dark hair with silver, yet his people still remembered him as a wise and patient ruler. He believed that peace was a greater victory than any battlefield could offer, and throughout his reign, the kingdom had enjoyed long seasons of quiet prosperity. As evening settled across the valley, the palace followed its familiar routine. Servants lit rows of candles that filled the stone corridors with a warm golden glow. The scent of beeswax and burning oak drifted gently through the halls, while distant footsteps echoed softly beneath the vaulted ceilings. Outside, the royal gardens rested beneath the pale light of a full moon, where fountains whispered into the cool night air. After sharing a simple evening meal, the king took his usual walk through the palace library. He paused beside shelves of ancient maps and weathered chronicles, reflecting on the rise and fall of kingdoms that had vanished long before his own was born. With a quiet smile, he closed an old leather-bound book, unaware that before another sunrise, Ostera itself would begin to join those forgotten pages of history. The palace grew quieter with every passing hour. One by one, the candles in the great hall were gently extinguished until only a few remained, their small flames dancing softly in the still air. The guards continued their slow patrols along the stone walls, their polished armor glimmering beneath the silver moonlight. Above them, the night sky stretched endlessly, filled with stars that had watched countless generations before. King Aldrin entered his private chamber just before midnight. The room was simple, despite his royal title. A carved wooden bed stood beside a tall window overlooking the sleeping city. A single candle flickered near the bedside, casting gentle shadows across the ancient stone walls. The king looked out one last time toward the peaceful rooftops below, where tiny lanterns slowly disappeared as families drifted into restful sleep. With a quiet prayer of gratitude for another peaceful day, he placed his weathered crown upon a small oak table.
It had rested upon many rulers before him, carrying the weight of centuries of tradition and hope. Then, with calm and untroubled thoughts, King Aldrin closed his eyes. Within moments, he fell into a deep, peaceful sleep, never imagining that beyond the distant mountains, history had already begun to change before the arrival of dawn.
Far beyond the quiet valleys of Astera, where the kingdom's borders met the shadow of distant mountains, a different kind of night was unfolding. Along an old stone watchtower, a lone guard noticed faint lights moving across the horizon. They were not stars, nor the gentle glow of village lanterns. They were the flickering torches of travelers, messengers, and frightened families making their way through the darkness. One exhausted rider reached the border before midnight. His horse breathed heavily after miles of relentless travel. Dust covered his cloak, and his face showed the weariness of someone carrying news too important to delay. He spoke in a calm but urgent voice to the captain of the watch. Powerful neighboring lords had formed an alliance, and without raising a great army or declaring a dramatic war, they had begun peacefully claiming the lands surrounding Astera. Local governors, hoping to avoid bloodshed, had quietly pledged their loyalty to the new rulers. The captain immediately ordered fresh horses to be prepared for the long ride to the royal palace.
Yet the capital lay many miles away, separated by forests, rivers, and winding roads. As the messenger disappeared into the moonlit countryside, the palace remained silent, and King Aldrin continued sleeping peacefully, unaware that the kingdom he loved was slowly slipping away with every passing hour.
While the messenger rode through the quiet countryside, the villages of Astera remained wrapped in peaceful silence. Smoke no longer rose from the chimneys, and every cottage rested beneath the gentle glow of the moon. Only the soft rustling of leaves and the distant call of an owl disturbed the stillness of the night. In several towns, local leaders gathered inside small stone halls lit by a handful of candles. They spoke in calm voices, carefully considering the future of their people. They knew that resisting the powerful alliance beyond the mountains would likely bring suffering to families who had known only peace for many years. After long discussions, they chose a different path. One by one, they agreed to accept the new order without battle, hoping to protect their homes from destruction. Across the kingdom, royal banners were lowered with quiet respect rather than anger. No castles burned, no great armies marched across the fields. Instead, history changed through whispered conversations, thoughtful decisions, and the passing of sealed letters from one town to another. Inside the palace, none of these quiet moments could be heard. Thick stone walls kept the night peaceful, and King Aldrin slept soundly, dreaming of green fields, gentle rivers, and the kingdom he believed.
The hours before dawn passed with remarkable calm. A cool breeze drifted through the palace gardens, gently stirring the leaves of ancient oak trees that had stood there for centuries. The marble fountains continued their quiet song, and the moon slowly sank toward the western hills. To anyone walking through the palace, it seemed like an ordinary night, untouched by change. At last, the weary messenger reached the capital. His horse slowed as it crossed the old stone bridge leading to the palace gates. The guards recognized the royal seal hanging from his satchel and welcomed him inside without delay. Yet, when he delivered the letter, the Lord Chamberlain paused before waking the king. He looked toward the closed door of the royal chamber and quietly said, "His Majesty has carried the burdens of this kingdom for many long years. Let him have a few more moments of peaceful rest." No one argued. The officials gathered in silence beneath the fading candlelight, waiting for the first light of morning. Outside, the eastern sky slowly brightened with soft shades of blue and gold. Birds began to sing their gentle songs, unaware that they were welcoming the first sunrise of a kingdom that no longer existed as it had the evening before. The first rays of sunlight slipped through the tall windows of the royal chamber, filling the room with a warm golden glow. King Aldrin opened his eyes slowly, believing he was waking to another peaceful morning like countless others before it. For a few quiet moments, everything seemed familiar. The birds sang in the gardens, the fountains whispered beyond the window, and the palace remained calm. After dressing, the king stepped into the great hall where his advisors stood waiting in complete silence. Their faces carried neither panic nor anger, only the quiet sadness that comes when a long chapter of history has reached its final page. The Lord Chamberlain bowed respectfully and handed the king the sealed letter that had arrived before dawn. Aldrin read every word without speaking. When he reached the final line, he gently folded the parchment and looked through the palace windows toward the peaceful valley below. Nothing outside appeared different. Farmers were already walking toward their fields, smoke rose from village chimneys, and children began another ordinary day. Yet the kingdom they called home had quietly passed into history during the night. The old king simply nodded, placed a hand upon the cool stone window, and whispered, "May peace remain with my people, even if my crown does not." The morning was beautiful. Anastera became a memory carried gently into the pages of history.
Tonight, we travel back nearly 2,000 years to a place where life felt peaceful, ordinary, and predictable. A city where merchants opened their shops each morning. Children laughed in the streets, and families gathered beneath the warm Mediterranean sun. Children laughed in the streets, and families gathered beneath the warm Mediterranean sun. Yet, beneath their feet, deep below the ground, a powerful force was quietly awakening. The people of Pompeii did not know it. No one could imagine that within a short time, their entire world would disappear beneath ash and stone. So settle comfortably, close your eyes, and let us drift back into the final peaceful days of ancient Pompeii.
The morning sun rises over Pompeii. Golden light touches the stone streets and tiled rooftops. The city slowly awakens. Shops prepare to open. Workers begin their daily routines. Everything appears calm and ordinary. No signs of danger can be seen. The city feels timeless. A place full of confidence.
The marketplace soon fills with activity. Bakers display fresh bread. Potters arrange carefully crafted goods. Farmers arrive, carrying fruits and vegetables. Friendly conversations fill the air. People negotiate prices. Children follow their parents through crowded pathways. Life moves with a familiar rhythm. A rhythm that has continued for generations.
Nearby, children play in the narrow streets. Their laughter echoes between stone buildings. Games are played without concern. The future seems endless. The adults watch with quiet smiles. No one senses that history is approaching. The city remains wrapped in comfort and routine.
Far below the city, beneath layers of rock and earth, pressure slowly builds. Deep underground, molten magma shifts and moves. The mountain known as Vesuvius appears peaceful. Yet hidden forces continue their silent work. The earth keeps its secrets well. For now.
As morning turns toward afternoon, a gentle haze settles across the landscape. The city glows beneath.
From above, the city appears orderly and peaceful. Roads stretch neatly through neighborhoods. Fountains sparkle in public squares. Citizens move through their daily lives. Everything suggests stability. Everything suggests permanence.
The marketplace remains the heart of Pompeii. Merchants greet familiar customers. Travelers share stories from distant lands. The aroma of fresh food drifts through the streets. Business thrives. The city enjoys wealth and success. Its people feel fortunate.
At the city fountain, water flows continuously. Marble statues stand watch over the square. Residents gather to collect water. Friends exchange news and laughter. The fountain has witnessed countless ordinary days. Today feels no different. At least for now.
In a quiet courtyard garden, a family enjoys the evening together. Flowers bloom beside stone walls. Soft sunlight paints the scene in gold.
Painted walls decorate homes and businesses. Beautiful frescoes tell stories of gods and heroes. Artists leave their mark upon the city. Pompeii is vibrant and cultured. Its streets reveal both wealth and creativity. The city stands at the height of its success.
Beyond the rooftops rises Mount Vesuvius.
The mountain appears calm.
Its slopes blend peacefully into the horizon. Most people see it simply as part of the landscape, a familiar neighbor, a silent guardian overlooking the city. But appearances can be deceiving. Small cracks appear along certain roads. Most people barely notice them. Minor earthquakes are not unusual here. Life continues as normal. Yet beneath the surface, the earth grows increasingly restless. Birds suddenly leave the area. Their movements seem unusual. Large groups take flight together. Few citizens pay attention. Nature often notices danger before humans do. But its warnings are rarely understood. At an old well, dark reflections ripple across the water. The atmosphere feels strangely different. A quiet unease lingers. Yet no clear explanation exists. People continue their routines. As evening approaches, the streets become unusually quiet. Wind carries dust through empty pathways. The city settles into darkness. An eerie stillness fills the air. The final, peaceful night begins. The following day, a dark column of smoke rises from Vesuvius. At first, it appears distant. Many people simply stop and watch. Curiosity replaces concern. No one fully understands what is happening. Citizens gather in the streets. Faces turn toward the mountain. Questions spread quickly. Confusion grows. Yet there is still hope that the danger will pass. The cloud continues expanding, higher and higher into the sky. Its shape becomes enormous. Darkness begins to spread across the horizon. Fear slowly replaces uncertainty. Ash begins falling from above, softly at first, like strange black snow. Roofs, roads, and gardens become covered. The city grows quieter. Every passing moment brings greater danger. Suddenly, Vesuvius erupts with incredible force. Fire and ash burst into the sky. The mountain releases energy built over centuries. The ground trembles violently. The age of Pompeii changes. Daylight disappears. Dark clouds block the sun. The city enters an unnatural night. Visibility fades. The familiar world becomes People rush through the streets, searching for safety. Families try to stay together. Fear spreads everywhere. The sounds of panic echo through the darkness. Ash continues falling relentlessly. Roofs begin to collapse. Statues disappear beneath gray layers. Buildings slowly vanish. The city is being buried alive.
Street after street becomes covered. Silence gradually replaces chaos. Movement slows. The world of Pompeii freezes in time. A tragic moment preserved forever. When the eruption finally ends, Pompeii lies hidden beneath thick volcanic ash. An entire city disappears. Vesuvius grows quiet once more. The sky clears. Birds eventually return. Nature continues its cycle. But Pompeii remains lost. Years become decades. Decades become centuries. The city sleeps beneath layers of ash. Undisturbed. Forgotten by much of the world.
Grass and trees grow above the buried ruins. Nature slowly reclaims the land. Few realize what rests below. A complete Roman city waits silently in darkness.
Centuries later, archaeologists begin uncovering the lost city. Walls emerge. Roads appear. Ancient objects return to daylight. Pompeii speaks once again. Its story survives. Today, the ruins remain a remarkable window into the ancient world. A city frozen in a single moment of history. A reminder that even the greatest civilizations can vanish unexpectedly. And as the stars shine above modern Italy, the silent memories of Pompeii continue to rest beneath them. Thank you for joining this peaceful journey through history. Sleep well. And until next time, good night.